Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Foodie Friday. And since we have really been focusing in on keeping it green this week on Raw Food Rehab, I thought I would bring you out into my backyard that is actually still pretty desolate. It's just barely starting to wake up as the temperatures are starting to increase just a little bit, although we have snow in the forecast for this weekend, so we're not out of the woods yet. But I wanted to show you that I found some wild edibles just outside my back door. Check this out. Dandelion greens already starting to pop up. There they are. Last year in my backyard, I finally identified that I had lamb's quarters growing way back in the back of my backyard. So I transplanted them into my garden, and you can imagine they grew like weeds. I had more lamb's quarters than I knew what to do with. I couldn't even use them all in salads and smoothies, but I decided what I would do is that I would dry them in the dehydrator. Let me give you an example. Right now I have some wild, well, they're not wild, they're organic dandelion greens that I picked up at Whole Foods, and I have just dried them in my dehydrator. And what I will do, stems and all, I'll take them and put them into my Vitamix and turn them into green powder. I store this in my refrigerator. The one I'm just about out of, that's lamb's quarters from last year. And then that's wheatgrass. When my dad was still living here with us, he was doing massive quantities of wheatgrass. I mean, we couldn't drink enough of it. So I would just dry the abundance that I had left over and grind it and turn it into green powder, which I've used all winter long. So I'm going to use the lamb's quarters powder in a recipe that I'm making for you today. As I always do on Foodie Friday, I love to lay out all my ingredients and show you what I have. There are some dandelion greens that I found today at Whole Foods. They had red stemmed dandelion greens, which I'm not really sure if it's more nutritious or not, but whenever I see color, I always try to buy it. So fresh dandelion greens, fresh basil, spinach, zucchini, lemon. You can see all this. Wonder what I'm going to make. Do you have any ideas? Well, you may have already guessed that I am making something with a little Italian flair today with all those ingredients that I just showed you, but I am making wild edible stackables. You know, Oscar Mayer makes Lunchables. We can do stackables, right? Okay, the first thing I've put together that we will be using is a really delicious marinara sauce, which is in my book, Raw Food Cleanse. And then I've just added some ingredients into my food processor. This is going to be our wild green pesto. And we've got dandelion greens, a little bit of basil. Basil's really expensive this time of the year, so we're using other kinds of greens. So dandelion greens, some spinach, basil, and then I'm getting ready to add in lamb's quarter powder, just to kick up the nutrition a notch. That's going to be an awesome pesto. And as always, I'll put the ingredients to all of this underneath the video. Okay, there's that delicious marinara. It's a little spicy. It has crushed red pepper. You know I like it hot. And then here's our wild pesto. It is so good. And I mean, the nutritional value in that has got to be off the charts. So what I'm going to do with those two is I'm going to take some sliced zucchini, some sliced tomato, which it's hard to find a good tomato this time of the year. That's about as good of a one as I could find. I've chopped up some olives. These are not technically raw olives, but they are cured. They're like Sicilian olives, and they had the pits in them. I mean, they're the nicest olives that I could find. By the way, if you're into raw olives, next week you're going to want to stay tuned because, well, I'm not going to say anymore. Just if you're into the olives, stay close. Okay, the other thing I have here is just some sprouts. It's just like a spicy sprout mix that I picked up at the grocery store. So I am going to put these items together to show you how you can make a really super quick, easy, and nutritious meal for yourself. This is probably a really good lunch or dinner menu. And then after I show you that, we've got some giveaways. Well, I don't know how well that you can see this, But basically I've taken 2 tomatoes and I have layered it just like you would a sandwich. I've got in between the layers of tomato, I have the marinara sauce and the wild green pesto, and I've layered it and topped it with fresh sprouts and chopped olives. And then this little personal lasagna is basically what it is. I've just shaved that zucchini kind of on the bias, very thin, and I used a mandolin. You could use a knife for sure. And I've layered that. Do you see that? With the marinara and the pesto, and I have topped it with black olives. Now, the one thing that I would do differently on this one that I normally do is I normally add a macadamia nut cheese, but since I'm really wanting to finish this 11-week initiative strong, I'm just kind of swearing off nuts as much as possible. I mean, I know that the pesto has some pine nuts in it, but I'm just kind of trying to go a little bit lighter on the nuts. So this is such a quick and easy little treat meal, and it's beautiful. And this would be something that I would definitely serve for guests. And you can see it's just a matter of, you know, throwing some ingredients in a blender or a food processor and putting it out there and building your little stackables. Good. Well, I just polished off those 2 little delicious stackable morsels, and I just highly encourage you to try the recipe. Even if you don't have wild edibles at this time of the year, you can go ahead and make that pesto with whatever leafy green that you have on hand, and it is delicious. I highly recommend it. It's really easy. You could make that pesto in a blender. I just used my food processor. But now we're getting ready to give away our 2 grand finale prizes of Green Week. It is Health Cures 101, very comprehensive ebook by Marcus Rothkrantz, as well as his 5 DVD set on helping you learn how to live more sustainably, eating locally wild and free edibles in your area, teaching you how to forage and what to look for. Okay, let's draw first for the winner of the ebook. Health Cures 101 goes to Carlene. Carlene is my friend on YouTube, My Road Home. Carlene just finished like a 26-day juice feast. She's just awesome. I am so excited. She'd been following me on YouTube, and I'm like, you need to join Raw Food Rehab. So aren't you glad you did? Yay! Health Cures 101. That'll be right. That'll be just perfect for you right now, since you're coming off of a juice feast and you're wanting to add more raw food into your life. You're going to unleash that raw rock star inside of you. It's going to be awesome. Okay, who's the winner? 5 DVD set. Can't wait to see it. Jerry Lynn Atkins in California. She's been with us for months and months. She's a regular active member of our website, and I know her daughter is also plugged in here. You guys are going to be foraging for some wild green edibles, and we want to hear all about it. We'd love to hear and have you take some pictures of your excursions when you guys go out. Maybe you'll be growing some in your own backyard. So congratulations to our winners. Hey, March Madness isn't over. Stay tuned next week. We've got more excitement as we're wrapping up this very first 11-week Total Health and Weight Loss Initiative. Next Friday, it's our final day. So you'll want to stay glued next week. Love you. I'll see you then. Bye.